don't get me wrong, I'm super thankful that I have a source of income. But the thing about living in America, the thing about working in America is, unless you're in New York City, your only mode of transportation is going to be a car. And depending on how far away you live from work, your commute will eat up a good chunk of time. I did the math one time, and I commute a total of 7.5, 8 hours every week, I believe, because I live like about 30 to 40 minutes away from my job. And then I'm at my job for 8 hours. And then I go home, I have dinner, I make sure I have leftovers for lunch the next day because I don't make enough to be eating lunch at a restaurant every day or to be getting takeout. Most of us don't. And then my weekends are mostly spent getting ready for the week. And then my weekends are spent getting ready for the week, mainly. I'm doing my laundry, I'm cleaning. And if I'm working at my other job, forget it. I really don't have any free time at that point. I don't know, life in America just feels depressing. My boyfriend and I both agree that we're not really living here, we're just surviving. And I can't wait for us to get out of here together because he was born and raised here, and I've been here for a good chunk of my life. I'm from Bulgaria. I'm an EU citizen. We're ready for something new, and we don't really like the direction in which things are headed in this country. It's getting pretty scary. It's time to leave. And I know that moving abroad isn't for everyone. I know that it's not really an accessible option for most people because it can be expensive. And depending on where you want to go, visas can be difficult to obtain. But if you have the means, if you're a dual citizen, I recommend. Because things are not going to get any better here anytime soon. So if you want to leave, I would do it while you can.
My husband and I have decided that we just can't do it anymore. We decided to break our lease early and to just leave the country as soon as possible. We're thinking Vietnam initially, then Thailand. Our plan so far is to work every single day until we get over there, to use Delta points to fly there, and to use Hilton points to be able to stay at least for free for the first 3 months. While I'm there, I plan on doing English teaching online to supplement income, but I do plan on having as much money saved as possible. Just need a mental break. At first, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to take a year siesta to get my life together and, get my mental health together. But honestly, it's just so stressful being here. We don't know how long we want to stay gone, but we do know that we're going to travel a few countries, and we want to stay gone at least 2 or 3 years now. We are literally going to turn our whole lives upside down in the next 6 months. So if y'all have any suggestions, please let us know, because at this point we're just winging it. We're just going to sell everything, leave, and just take it from there. It's official. We broke our lease and got our one-way ticket out the country from Dallas to Vietnam, and now we just need to get our lives together for the next 6 months, saving money, getting our visas, downsizing. We have 60 days from the day we signed to move out of our apartment, and then we're going to downsize to corporate housing. So we're gonna basically just go to a furnished apartment for the remainder of our time here. We've sold most of our furniture already, so our apartment is so bare. During that time, we'll just be getting all of our documents ready, getting our documents apostilled, working on our visa process, stacking as much money as possible, getting my car ready to sell. The next 6 months is really just to grind as much as possible. Like, I've been working like almost every single day so that we can have as big of a nest egg as possible whenever we leave the country. We're just starting our journey in Vietnam while we apply for the DTV visa in Thailand.
I made it out of the U.S. The burdens that fall off of your shoulders when you leave that place. It's like waking up out of the Matrix. It feels like opening your eyes for the first time. It feels like dreams can actually live outside of your mind. It feels like living in humanity and not in a simulation. This is just my experience. I know there's a lot of people that love it in the U.S., and I love that so much for you. But not everybody feels that way, and that's also okay. I know a few of you are asking, how do you know where to go? And that will be part of the series I'm going to start soon. I just need some time to recover from the whole refrigerator incident. And just the 11 hours of travel. So stay tuned for that. I want to help people find a different place to live that is aligned with who they are as a person. I know a lot of other people are like, come move where I am, you're gonna love it. I don't want to say that, because the worst thing you can do is move somewhere for somebody else and you hate it, and now you've moved yourself and maybe even your whole family somewhere that doesn't align with you, and that's silly. So I want to help you find a place, or help you think strategically so you can find a place that aligns with you. Have a beautiful day. Never let limiting beliefs decide your future.
So I want to share something that's been weighing really heavy on me lately. We're getting ready to leave the United States. Not because we want to, but because when you're in a mixed status family, sometimes it feels like the country leaves you first. We have started wrapping up loose ends. I have closed down my office and moved it home. We are liquidating what we can, and we're letting go of things that we thought we'd hold on to forever. It's surreal. We have built a life here. We raised a family. We paid taxes. We followed the rules. But we've always had that fear hanging over us that one day it could be taken away. My husband has what some would consider temporary status. But we have been in the immigration process now for almost 18 years. 18 years of waiting, of hoping, of spending money on attorneys, applications, just to be told over and over again to wait some more. And we've lived like that for too long. And we're tired of just surviving. So now we're doing the hard work. Not just packing boxes, but grieving a life that we thought we could keep. We are saying goodbye to the only home we've ever known. And there are a lot of unknowns ahead. Will we be safe? Will our family we leave behind be okay? Will we find community again? It's terrifying. But in a weird way, it feels freeing. Because for once, we're making a decision that feels like the right thing for us. We're not just moving. We are choosing peace over panic. We're choosing to breathe again. So if you're in a mixed status family and you're considering the same, you're not alone. You're not crazy. You're brave. And you deserve more than just survival.
Americans are finding peace in other countries. Why is it that we are learning to really, really love on ourselves? We are really learning what it feels like to have peace, to have freedom, to really unconditionally show ourselves the self-love that we deserve. Why is it that we have to leave and go outside of America to have access to quality health care, to have access to doctors that actually care about our health? Why is it that we have to leave America to actually get healthier? Why is it? Why is it that we can leave America? No one asks us about our credit. Why is it that we have to leave America to feel safe? Why is it? Why is it that so many Americans are thriving outside of the United States? And we don't have that type of thriving activity inside of the United States. Why is it that we have to leave America to have a sense of peace? Why is that? Can anybody answer me that question? Because inquiring minds want to know. Why is it that we can move outside of America and have a better life? Why is it that we can move outside of America and have the peace that surpasses even our own understanding? Why is that? Why is it that we can leave America and have true freedom and be seen for who we are? Why is it that when we move outside of America, we can be our true, authentic self? We can slow down and really enjoy life, eat great food that's not filled with all this stuff. Why is it? Why is it that we don't prioritize our mental health, but we can do it so easily outside of the United States? Why is it that my children haven't had to experience what it feels like for pow violence to be in their school? Why is it that I have not had to have the conversation with my black boys about how they need to protect themselves because they are black boys? Why is it that I haven't had nobody run up in my house and I moved to another country because they say I don't belong in that home? Why is that? Why is it that we can prioritize self-care and love on ourselves first, which in turns makes us love everyone else around us better? Why is that? Why is it that I actually can make it in another country? That I don't have to live paycheck to paycheck? That I actually can save? I can pay off a little bills, little student loans. Why is it that I can actually plan for my family's future, for my children's future, and I can actually breathe? My equilibrium can breathe. Why is that? Why is it that life outside of the United States is so much better?
I'm fleeing the United States. Yeah, that's right, you heard me. I'm fleeing the United States. Hey, my name is Nicole. I am a licensed professional counselor, a women's wellness retreat host, and I am leaving the United States for the last 4 months of the year in hopes of finding a place that I could potentially move to and relocate to permanently.
So on my way to leaving, I'm also giving up my apartment. So I am moving completely out my apartment. I am doing all the research that I need to do to discover what I need in order to enter into most of these countries. Most of them that I'm going to, I don't need a visa for. So that's cool, right? That's less money I have to spend, but I have to navigate the flights that I need, navigate where I'm going to be staying, all of those things. So it's a bit nerve-wracking, but it's fun. I love this part of the planning. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm going to 6 different places. I have not released where I'm going just yet, but I am going to 6 different places. How did I decide where I'm going? Well, I have friends who live out the country, so I'm visiting them. I have friends that are traveling, so I'm going to join them on some of their travels. And some places I just wanted to try out because I've heard so many good things about life for black aspects there. So I am trying those places out. I have a conference that I'm going to in one country. I have a retreat that I'm going to attend in another. And yeah, so that's how I decided. It's kind of up in the air on some extra things. I will be probably going on like some weekend excursions to other countries that are really close by. So I know for sure I'm hitting these 6 countries for sure, but I may add in some other places just because. There are 4 places that I plan on staying more long term. Some places are short term, like 2 of the places I'll be there for just like 3 to 4 days, but other places I'll be there for up to a month. So I really want to get a good feel of, is this somewhere I can be? You know, when you go somewhere for a weekend visit, you can't tell if you're going to like it or not. You know, you just had the weekend vibes, right? So if I'm there for a month or at least 2 weeks at minimum, that gives me a really good feel of if this is going to be a good place for me. One of the things I'm excited about is just the affordability of some of these places that I will be going to. Just had a homegirl, one of my sorors that lives in Ghana, post that she just got an ultrasound for $34. Whereas I just left from getting my eyebrows arched and I paid $18. Now make that make sense. Come along this journey with me as I travel across the world and show you how you can be successful with living outside of the United States too, or just have fun with me. Live vicariously through me as I travel and get into some adventures, some shenanigans, see what wellness looks like, what mental health aspects look like in other nations. So yeah.
Relocating to South Africa, there's a few things I considered before making the decision. Since I knew I wanted to leave, I started by making a list of places that I was interested in going. I got this list from some preliminary research. I wanted to see where the other expats in the U.S. were going. Other things I considered was the local economy, other communities that I fit into, and I wanted somewhat of a soft landing, meaning a place that was very similar to the U.S. and where I'm living and what I'm doing now. While I was doing my research, I also decided to schedule some trips so that I could check out the local communities. Now, I wasn't able to visit every place, and I had already visited South Africa about 8 months prior to that. So after visiting 2 places on my short list, I realized that while, yeah, they were great to visit, I couldn't see myself living there. I had already known that I could stay in South Africa, and I remember that while I was visiting, I said that I wanted to retire there. The icing on the cake was when I did a trial run, stayed there for a month, and I was sold. I love the people there. I love the community. That's where I felt home.
So originally in November, I told my husband that if he won, that I would not want to be here. After 2016, the election in 2016 and watching that transpire, and then just feeling a sense of peace and calm from 2020 to 2024, at least with our own politics. Obviously, it was horrific, like the war in Ukraine and Palestine. But I knew I couldn't go through another 4 years of this shit. So we decided in January that we were going to wait and see what happens. And by February, I think I was like, no, we need to go. Like, go. And my husband was resistant. And then obviously everything kept happening. I don't really know what the hard line was. I don't remember because there's been so many things going on. But eventually we came to the conclusion that our country is not the same that it was, and it probably will not be the same for another 10 years or so. I mean, if we're lucky. Made the decision in February, and the grief that I felt was really, really strange. Like, it's a weird kind of grief. Like, you grieve people when they die, you grieve your pets when they die, you grieve the loss of friendships. This was different, and it took me a really long time to process, because this is my home. This is literally my home. And to feel forced almost to leave it just because you don't feel safe and you don't feel comfortable and you know that your quality of life would be better somewhere else, it's a really weird feeling. So I think people like over glamorize moving to a different country. Like, I know it's not going to be easy, and we have support there. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard. I mean, we're going there with no jobs. We don't have housing. Like, we have housing with his parents. I'm 32. I really don't want to live with his parents, but I'm grateful that we can. And yeah, it's a really, really strange feeling. And I'm mourning my country, and I'm mourning my things, which I think I've said in previous videos. They're just things, but also that's like the culmination of 10 years of my life. Like, all wrapped up and gone. And it's very odd. But at the end of the day, she's coming with us. My cat's coming with us. Those were the 2 most important things. That's a whole other process that I'll explain in another video. But yeah, the grief is hard, and I think when we booked the tickets, it lessened a little bit because it felt more real, but I still haven't told my parents. So that'll be interesting. They're both Republican and Trump supporters. So that's going to be a whole other conversation that I'm not looking forward to and I keep putting off. But at some point I need to rip the Band-Aid off and tell them. Yeah. I mean, this is not fun. It's difficult. We're in like the weird like in-between stage where we can't really do anything. Like, we leave in January. Like, we can't, I mean, we could sell our stuff, but then my apartment would be empty and I'd just be devastated, like living in an empty apartment. But yeah, sucks that we're here. Glad we can leave. Sad that we have to, but it is what it is.
What you doing? Oh, I'm not doing nothing. I'm just over here trying to figure out what country I need to move to. Because the U.S. is ghetto here. Who ever came up with 40-hour work week? Whoever came up with 8-hour shifts, Monday through Friday, point me into their direction. I want to find me a country where I do not have to feel like I'm still in those days, because this cannot be life. This ain't it. Have a good Friday. Let me go try and figure this out. Let me try and figure out what country I'm moving to.
But the most beautiful things in life are not just things. They're people and places, memories and pictures. They're feelings and moments, and smiles and laughter.
I'm moving out of the country and I'm starting this journey from scratch. So I thought now would be a great time to start documenting everything that needs to be done to leave. So my husband is already a Mexican citizen. He has Mexican dual citizenship. So now we're in the process of getting our kids dual citizenship and me dual citizenship. The thing is with moving is you really have to take things step by step. You don't want to overwhelm yourself, because then the whole idea is just going to collapse. So I started by putting all of our important documents, birth certificates, social security cards, in a binder. So you have to take your birth certificate to get an apostille. You can get the apostille at your state capital. It's really easy. You just walk in, you can get it there. You pay $20 per document, and then it's certified. And after that, you can make an appointment with the consulate, the Mexican consulate, and go from there. But that is the first step, and that's what I'm doing this week. I'm moving in about 8 months, so this should give me enough time to, finalize everything, get all the documents that we need, sell everything in our home, and start the process.